Hi everyone, this is MSY's Research Notes. Well, yesterday I was too busy to record my research notes and I have to apologize. Because I'm now writing about my own essays and I'm in the process of writing the literature review, which I think is one of the most difficult parts in the overall essay. And I think it's much more difficult than methods or results. So I think, it's very hard to organize different essays or theories together to lay a foundation for your present study. Especially for my own research, I tried to propose a new pedagogical approach or a new way of teaching. So, in order to construct different behaviors in a new way of teaching, you definitely need to draw on different theories or various theories from different domains. And my focus is second language acquisition, but you definitely need to find other essays, other theories, or other hypotheses or in the broader domain of education. Well, as an undergraduate student, I can tell you that I'm not very familiar with all the theories in education. So I need to check information. I need to read through very quickly through those essays and pick out those important things or pick out those theories that can help me to form my pedagogical approach. So I think it's very time consuming, and now I'm in the process of the second part of the second chapter of the literature review, which is about the dialogic teaching. Well, dialogic teaching, unlike other theories that I have used, namely, near-peer teaching and control value theory, you can see that near-peer teaching is very clear because almost every essay they mention about the cognitive and social congruence of near-peer teachers with their learners or with their students. And control value theory is even more much easier to write about because you'll focus on only two aspects, namely control and value. But you can see in the dialogic teaching, it has various theories or various scholars, and there is no clear structure from other essays to tell you how to organize this theory or various theories within dialogic teaching. So you need to find some logic among them. You need to find a kind of structure to organize different theories within several paragraphs to support the teaching behaviors within your pedagogical approach. So it's a very hard task for me to do. Well, in the dialogic teaching, I will firstly write about the theories, absolutely the content of the theories of this pedagogical approach. And after this theory, in this process, I will link this theory to near-peer teaching, which is the previous part, because you are not just simply putting another theory here. You absolutely need to find some associations or some connections with the previous theory and the following theory that you will mention. So the theory of dialogic teaching is connected to near-peer teaching. And the effect of dialogic teaching is connected to control value theory because you can see that dialogic teaching can improve students' control because students' ideas or their contributions to the class are taken as like a kind of momentum or like a kind of direction of the class. So students are constantly contributing to the direction of the course. So this is one way of improving or enhancing their sense of control, and this is absolutely associated with control value theory, and which is the following part after dialogic teaching. So I think this kind of design is a very clever one, and I think, but it's very easy to say here, but how to organize dialogic teaching among all those theories, all those scholars, is very, very hard. And I think the effects of dialogic teaching is much more, is much easier, because I will only focus on 3 different aspects. The first aspect is private aspect. You can understand it as private aspect includes control and value, which is the next part, or the next session, or the last section of the second chapter of literature review. And besides this kind of private sector, I will also write about teacher sector or teacher dimension and atmospheric or atmosphere dimension. And teacher and atmosphere are linked to foreign language enjoyment, because this is like the dependent variable here in the present essay. So I absolutely need to constantly tell the readers that I will influence teachers and atmosphere. Therefore, theoretically, after reading the literature review, theoretically you will know that foreign language enjoyment can also be improved. So this is one way of gives readers some hints and make your results more acceptable. Because if the readers, they literally don't know your approach or your pedagogical approach can improve FLE, then I think you didn't really point out why you choose this. Because if you, naturally, when you introduce why you choose this pedagogical approach, you absolutely need to include its theoretical effect, and then you use your own essay to empirically prove that. So if after reading this literature review, if readers, they still don't know your theoretical effect of this kind of pedagogy, then I think you probably have omitted some kind of very important information. So this is a necessary part in the literature review. Well, compared with the theory, I think writing about the effect is much easier, because you can see that I have already listed the structure here. So I'll just follow the structure and hint or suggest that this kind of pedagogical approach will yield a very great result. As reflected by foreign language enjoyment. Well, so this is my research progress, and today I spend a longer time discussing my own research, because I think I need to make some records here, because this is one of the most difficult parts when writing an essay. And I think, luckily, I've already figured out an overall clear structure, but we have to say that some detailed parts, or the relationship, among different paragraphs, even among different sentences, among different words, you absolutely need to consider all of them in detail, and that is very hard. And you can never describe all of them in the video, because there are simply too many things that you must put into your consideration. And well, I would just introduce my essay progress in the relatively in a relatively crude way. I'm not quite sure whether this word is appropriate, which means not very detailed. So, well, this is my essay, and after, tomorrow, well, Tomorrow evening I'll have some other business. So tomorrow night I probably do not have much time writing my own essay, and and tomorrow morning I have 2 courses, so I only have one afternoon writing my own essay, and probably tomorrow I will finish like the dialogic teaching, the first section of dialogic teaching, which is about the theories, and I'm not quite sure whether I can move to the next part, which is the effects of dialogic teaching. But I think I can. Well, probably finish the first part, which is the private section of control value theory. And luckily I could have finished, or luckily I will have finished the overall effect of dialogic teaching. Well, I'm not quite sure about that. So, well, this is basically what I'll do tomorrow is my plan, because tomorrow I will go out of school, which is a very unique phenomenon here because I really, really seldom go out of school and I spend most of the time here in the teaching building. I generally only go out of school to find a part-time job while or take some, internship, which is also necessary when applying to a foreign school. So I do say that I seldom go out of school. And for most of the time, if you want to find an internship, you can also do it online. And for most of the times, I generally do the internship online, which is more convenient for me. So this is like my life, and I'm not quite sure I'm not quite sure why I introduce it here. Probably it's just is too tired, so I just fell into a kind of memory or a recollection of my life. Today we'll start a new essay like what I have, and this essay I have already introduced is about a kind of essay in physics. And it's about physics education, and its name is Enhancing Physics Learning with Cognitively Activating Instruction, a Quasi-Experimental Classroom Intervention Study. So why I choose this is because firstly, it's a quasi-experimental classroom intervention study, which is very, very similar to the one that I'm writing now. And the second is, after looking through this essay, you can see that the authors, they followed a very clear structure, and they proposed a new way of teaching, and they used theories, they used prior tests, and they used data and intervention to check its facts, and also they ensured the fidelity of implementation through various ways. So I think it's just like a kind of sample or sample essay that I can learn from, or at least even though they studied physics. Well, I think this is also the same in the field of second language acquisition. I can, follow the structure and learn from them, and at least know the information of different parts, and to make a list that I can follow when I am writing my own essay. So this is my purpose of discussing and reading and discussing this essay. So, well, this essay, I'll only focus on the methodology part because the literature review includes so many theories that I'm not familiar with, and most of them are in the field of physics. So I'll just omit that part and directly move to the methodology part. So the first part of the method doesn't have a title, and I think this can be perceived as the research design part. This is the leading part and includes the following content. First, the participants in the experiment, and second, the introduction of the context, namely gymnasium. Well, gymnasium is not a kind of sport. It means key high schools especially in the European context. And third, the allocation and design of the teachers. And fourth is the evaluation of their instruction, which is CogAct instruction. Well, actually, I think this kind of design is not very, very appropriate, because for several parts can be, included in like participants or data analysis part. I think if you want to write a kind of research design, I think you really need to include something very, very general. And after reading this, research design, the readers, I think the best result is that the readers can know how you designed this experiment and your purpose, and probably even include the following structure that you will use to organize the overall methodology part. For example, in my own essay, I absolutely pointed out that the two research questions, they are addressed to different kinds of questions, and for each of them, I used different methodologies, because after the literature review, I will directly raise the questions, and then it's the methodology part. So at the very beginning of the methodology part, I can absolutely follow the research questions that I have raised just before. So to answer those questions, I think I can introduce the methodologies that I use respectively. Well, absolutely, you can include participants, but I think it would be a wiser choice to put those information in the participants part, because since you will also introduce that statistics in the participants part, so why bother to put it here? So I think this is just my personal opinion about this part. And since the authors, they didn't really put a kind of title here, so it's just about my guesswork. I think this is a kind of research design. And so I have already introduced my own thinking about how to write a kind of research design. You will organize research design in accordance with research questions, and you will focus on the methodology that you will use. And also in the research design part, you will also suggest the following structures of the methodology part, like you will include participants, context, and you will tell readers how you conducted the survey, what kind of data you used, and how to check the fidelity of implementation, and whether you use the interview or whether you use the scales or questionnaires. So after introducing this, the readers, they will know what kind of things you will introduce in the following methodology part. For example, if you don't even mention the implementation or the fidelity of implementation, and if you don't mention the comparison group in the research design, then the readers might feel very confused when they read the comparison group, when they read the fidelity of implementation part. So I think you at least need to include those titles that you will include in the methodology part, which I think is very important. Well, so this is the first part of the methodology. And today I don't have much time, but tomorrow I promise I will continue this essay. And for this essay, I only wrote down some most important things, and I don't think there are too many important things. Well, you just when writing about my own essay, I think this can be a kind of instruction that I can follow. But there aren't really too many things to be introduced. So this is like at least this is a new essay that I'll introduce, and probably after this, I will move to like other theories that I will use in my essay, like control value theory, dialogic teaching, near-peer teaching, or the history of foreign language enjoyment. And I think one of the most interesting part in my essay is using some vocal signals or some kind of audio-based vocal signals to check the fluctuations of moment-to-moment changes of FLE. So this is like a new methodology that no one has ever used in in foreign language enjoyment. So this is a kind of new methodology that I will introduce in my later videos, and I really hope you like it. Well, so this is today, and this is MSY's research notes, and see you tomorrow. Good night.